are live. You dig? I don't know how this happens every time. Somehow my headphone gets inside the necklace, but stories from the Weight Pile Show. We got a good one today, boys. We do. We got a pretty good one today. I've been perusing the intranets, the YouTubes, and about 2 weeks ago, I came across a video that turned me on to looking into the D.A.R.E program. I don't know if y'all remember, but back in the early 90s, they started putting D.A.R.E, and police officers would come by and talk to you about uh, chemical enforcement. You know what I mean? They were trying to keep all the kids off the chemicals. Well, this thing goes back a good ways, though, man, to try to start the story off. We got to go on back a ways. Cause see, I gotta go get my damn Allen wrenches so we can put this thing on, man. My water's so loose. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll have to go on back a little bit, man, and try to find kind of the beginning of the story, you know. But back in LA, the school districts and stuff were using a couple different types of programs for chemical deterrent, you know, to try to keep the kids from turning to chemicals in the streets. Well, back back many moons ago, there was a dude named Robert F. Kennedy. He was going up against the Italian um, Ethan Ethan, Ethan Talks. Good to see you. Be at it. Good to see you. Uh, there's a dude called Robert F. Kennedy. His son has been in the news here recently, but the guy was going up against the mob, you know, the mafia, La Costa Nostra, and sure enough, a guy named Sirhan caught him after a speech he was giving in a kitchen, and needless to say, the guy had the Mouscatul, put the work to him, and the guy disparted this earth. Now he was a big politician. His brothers and everybody, his uncles, everybody's politician. John F. Kennedy was his brother. Okay. While this was going on, there was a kid there. He was taking a lot of pictures, you know, from high school. He was doing a little kind of like high school show and tell gimmick. He's out there with them. He sees this going down. He starts taking pictures. LAPD rolls up and takes his camera, takes all the pictures and destroys them. Now you'd say, crazy, what does that have to do with anything, right? Well, there's this guy, Daryl. Let's make sure we get it right here, man. We don't want to mess the dude's name up, man. Daryl Grant, I believe. Gates. Sorry. Daryl Gates. He's an officer coming up. Apparently, he was a really decorated officer. Supposedly, he's the one that came up with the idea for SWAT. And he was a pretty big dude, you know, in the LAPD. They put him in charge of the intelligence division. All right. Now, he takes the LA intelligence division and pretty much makes it just like the CIA. This place is it's a huge part of the LA Police Department. He has officers all across the country, even internationally, supposedly, and in high, like, you know, all in communities and boards and all types of places where, you know, they could look and see what type of politics you had, all undercover, of course. You know, all these officers are undercover, and they're looking to see like what kind of politics you had, if you were in any kinds of trouble or anything, you know. And they would document all that and then send these dossiers, these documents back to the headquarters, and they would keep them, and they'd keep them on file so that they can intimidate and maybe influence you to do things that they wanted you to do. Well, this guy Grant, he starts hell's the guy's name? Gates. I don't know why I keep calling him that. Gates. He starts you know, stockpiling all this stuff, man, and he starts sending undercover officers in the schools, not to like bust up crime rings or you know, 21 Jump Street type deals. No, none of that. He just putting them in there to listen to what all the kids are saying, all the teachers, all the people there in the community, to see what types of politics they had, what types of trouble they might be getting into, so that they could make these dossiers and they could keep these documents for intelligence purposes, of course. Well, it was supposed to be, if there was no crime involved, he's supposed to destroy all them documents. Well, years down the road, a reporter, they changed the laws to you know, like all the privacy laws and stuff like that after I'm trying to think what happened. Oh, Watergate happens with Nixon, right? Y'all know all about that, where he goes and tries to steal stuff out of the hotel of the competing. I think he was a Democrat, so he was breaking into the Republican stuff to try to steal the information and get ahead in the election, right? After that, they did a bunch of new laws for privacy and basically transparency. So this reporter goes into the LA files, starts looking up the RFK stuff, and sees that back when the RFK investigation was going on, they confiscated that kid's pictures, plus a whole lot of other evidence that was confiscated or taken was just destroyed. Now, that being said, there was supposed to be a file, a photo that was still circulating that showed some, I guess, discrepancy with the Sirhan deal. So they were trying to squash that deal and act like if nothing was going on. The federal government starts getting involved. They come to find out that they have all these dossiers. They got all these documents on all these people that they shouldn't have, man, across the country, not just in LA. Like, this dude had put together an intelligence network, like I said, to rival the real federal government's intelligence. Here we go, boys. Number 3. Bigfoot, good to see you, buddy. SS, good to see you. I don't know what you said, but, you know, it's all right. I don't know, Chanel. Oh, man. Mediation zone? Hell yeah. Dig it. So the government gets involved, finds out they have all these files and stuff they're not supposed to have, illegal files. They go to the California government. They say, man, y'all got to take care of this. Y'all got to burn them, get them out of here. Well, it comes out in the news that this is about to happen. So they go and contact the officers, say, hey, man, take all them dossiers, all them files, and go and hide them somewhere before they show up and start burning everything down, right? So they go and hide them. Oh, man. Well, while all this is going on, man, they start looking into the undercover cops that are in the school, and they decide, nah, you ain't allowed to do that, man. You're only allowed to have the cops in the school if they're going after drug dealers. Yeah, oh, dang, we just burned the video, dog. Just smashed the video out right there. Chemical dealers, right? So they're using this loophole to get in, you know. And finally, they find out about these extra files. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but they had went and set up another nonprofit organization on the side that funneled all this information to, and then that would funnel it up to the FBI, and that's how they ended up figuring out that they was doing stuff they shouldn't be. They was even out in states, had LA Police Department officers out in different states that they shouldn't have been in, trying to help out members of the board. Now that's the big problem, is that the government sees that they've kind of put together this whole deal. So they get smashed out of all the schools, ain't allowed in there no more. They burn all these files. They call it the purge. I know it's like probably funny because now the purge always means something else after they made that movie, but they called it the purge because they burned like hundreds of thousands of files. And but they assumed that most of that information had already got sent out, you know, but they couldn't swear to it. Now they're out of the schools and all that, you know, there's nothing they can do. Well, this guy Grant Gates, Daryl Gates Grant, the dude's fucking name ain't Grant, homie. Gates. This dude Gates, by all accounts, by Mark Rothmiller and other people that worked with him, he was like super motivated, and he would do anything. And if you went against him, he would crush you. Well, he goes to looking, and he's like, "What I'm gonna do now?" You know. So he goes and he gets up with the Unified School District of LA. Now they've been, like I said, using other programs. They've been testing stuff out. They've had two different methods. They say the one method is called the affective method, and the other is peer-resistant method. Well, they go through and they figure out, like, you know, this is how it would be if we had, like, you know, someone like an officer or you know, an authority figure come and talk to people, the kids, about these certain chemicals and what not to do with them, right? And then they had another one where they had peers setting up a resistance to it by having them all together as peers not want to do these chemicals. And that was found to be the most effective, was the peer resistance. Now, he goes and he approaches them about this. And he's like, "Hey, let me put my officers in there. Let them teach this chemical diversion programs." And they're like, "Nah, you're crazy, dude. No way." Well, you know, everything's ramping up here in the 80s, man. And like I said, dude don't take no for no answer. He goes and he gets his political connections and stuff that he has, and he pulls some strings, and they end up letting them use officers in the schools in LA to start teaching this chemical diversion programs. So he's in, right? He's got a little bit in, he's got his foot in the door, right? So they start looking at it. What method are they going to use? They've done studies. They know that this affective therapy method does not work, and they know this peer resistant does work. So you would assume, being that this works and this don't, that you would go with the one that works. Absolutely not. They went with the affective. And when they did that, everybody that was involved pretty much was all in together that this wasn't going to work. We weren't going to be able to help the kids with this method. But for some reason, they pushed that method anyway. The method where they're going to have an officer come in with a briefcase and then tell you all the scary details of what those chemicals do and to stay away from them, show you what they look like. And the consensus pretty much was that when the kids saw the briefcase, they was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I remember back in the day, man, when I was in school and they brought the briefcase in and the officer came and talked to us and stuff, man, and they would even give you like statistics and all these percentages and stuff. "Hey, Corrupt, good to see you, man," of how, you know, this affects people and that affects people and this, that, and the third, you know. But at the end of the day, I remember it as a whole kind of being a joke between all the kids, man. I don't know about the rich kids and stuff that lived in predominant neighborhoods because I wasn't one of them. I lived in low income housing with a lot of kids that were in low income families. So I don't know. It was like a joke to us, like, and everybody was always made jokes about trying to steal the briefcase and stuff like that, being funny, trying to be stupid. Well, let's see here. Well, they started adopting this program. Well, they figure, let's get this thing nationwide, man. We need all the kids to get into it. By 93, I think it was 50% of the schools nationwide had a D.A.R.E program. I think at the peak in 95, it was 75% of all the schools in the nation had D.A.R.E programs. Well, the problem is, as police officers, once you start making money doing something like that, you're no longer a police officer. So they have to start non-profit. They're called police. Dang, I forget what they're called. I think they're called police. Damn, man. Federations or something like that, man. And basically, they're just fundraisers for police, different types of fundraisers. And they use those to teach all these police officers who are going into the D.A.R.E program how to raise money as well. And then it's basically like Avon. Like once you're in, you get your stuff. Now you gotta like try to get the people, get your buddies to come in now and get them to do it. And if you get more buddies to come in and more buddies to come in underneath of you, then you make more money and the people below you make more money, like a pyramid scheme. Isn't that crazy, dude? They already know that this stuff's not going to help the kids, right? And they go with what's not going to help the kids. Then they start building it into a business, into a corporation, which you already know once you get the money involved, it's not going to be good for the kids, man. Well, the first year is kind of like just like a running, a test run, In the second year, nothing really happens the first year. In the second year of doing D.A.R.E, a police officer's service weapon goes off inside the classroom. Nothing to see here. That's what we're getting to, man. That's what we're getting to right now. In the second year, a police officer was in, teaching the class of D.A.R.E, and his service revolver went off in the classroom. Not good, boys. Not good. Third year, 6 months into the D.A.R.E program being in some of these locales. 3 months, I'm sorry. 3 months in to being in some of these locales. 6 kids within 3 months turn in their parents. And most of these are for flowers. Most of this stuff was for flowers. Like the kids would see the rolled up flower in the box, and then they'd ask them. Even in West Virginia, my cousin knew this dude, man, and they asked the kids how the parents smoked their cigarettes. Hold on. They asked them if they smoked cigarettes like this or like this. Well, the one kid said his dad smokes his cigarettes like this, and they went and they talked to him, and when they did, they found flowers at his house. That's a true story that of someone that I know that got caught up like that. Throughout the rest of that year and the time that D.A.R.E's been going, a lot of children turned their parents in. Now, of course, we want them to have an outlet if they're being abused or neglected to be able to go out and tell someone about it, you know. And in the D.A.R.E book, they sit there and they tell the officers in the D.A.R.E book, it's all about building trust, all about building a rapport with the kids, build trust with the kids, build trust with the kids. And then if they just happen to come out and tell you something, find another officer to come to take care of it, you know, because they don't want you to lose your trust and rapport with the children. And then years down the road, once they figure out what they're doing and what they've done, they got to live with the fact that they've turned their parents in for, you know what I mean, once they figure out what the meaning of all that is later on down the road. So basically, when the money got involved, they had to set up all these nonprofits. So D.A.R.E has like 2 companies before D.A.R.E America. But then D.A.R.E America, you know, helps all these locales, like they would come here to the local city and help this police department set up their own D.A.R.E program, which then all kicks back to D.A.R.E America and all that, of course, you know. Not that allegedly, of course. Well, once D.A.R.E gets going, they start collecting politicians, millionaires, billionaires. Um, the guy that when the RFK deal was going down, and there was an NFL player there that grabbed that guy up and you know, secured him until the police arrived. That guy was on the board. There was another guy on the board that was a junk bonds trader, and apparently he was helping everybody trade, you know, that was on the board. And then a lot of these people were also tied into another guy who was nicknamed the Sin Eater. He was known to have taken care of stuff like the Monica Lewinsky incident, discrediting Michael Jackson's, the kids that were accusing Michael Jackson's, discrediting them. He's basically a fixer. He was on the board and attached to a bunch of people that were on the board. There was another guy that was on the board that was caught up in an FBI sting, trying to launder money for a devil's dandruff. So what happened, man, when they started this deal up, man? And they knew that they was going to go with the affective, you know what I'm saying? When they figured out they were going to go with the plan that didn't work, what was the plan? What was behind this deal? Was it just for the intelligence? Was it just for the information, the people's information, what their political stances were, what they were affiliated with, what kind of things they were doing in the community, the dossiers? Or was it for the arrests? Was it for the incarceration of all the parents? Was it for us kids that went through this generation? Was it for them to set up for the cops here today to bust us now for abusing chemicals? Was it to set us up for using chemicals so that they'd have future projects down the road, job security, if you will? Was it just a money scheme? Was it just a pyramid? Was it just a deal to try to get money from the community and from other communities? I can tell you what it wasn't, though. It wasn't to keep our kids off drugs, or, I mean, our kids. It wasn't to keep us off drugs. And I just ruined the video too, didn't it? Son of a bitch. Chemicals. Chemicals, boys. And I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, I didn't make my own decisions and stuff, man. But At the same time, man, we're products of our environment. As much as I used to not like to talk like that, or to say that, or to be able to allow that, like you make your own decisions no matter where you're at, no matter who you are. But you're probably going to be a little bit more susceptible to doing things if scientists come out and say, this is probably what's going to happen with this human interaction this way. This is probably what's going to happen in all the studies that we found. You dig? Like, they set us up for failure. They did. They set us up for failure. Not to mention, like I've said before, the straight glorification of it on, TV, music, movies. Okay, good to see you, homie. Wesley Mitchell, what? What? We in here, man, speaking on D.A.R.E. Either a giant intelligence collecting opportunity, maybe it was a future incarceration and prosecution. Maybe it was for current prosecutions, or maybe it's just the LML. You know what I'm saying? MLN. Maybe it's just an MLN, just like another Avon or another Tupperware, LuLaRoe. Just another way to funnel money into someone's pockets. I'm not sure, but you would have thought when this thing back in the day, I don't know, I just assumed it was a government project, that it wasn't a non-profit. Hazer 420, good to see you, bro. I just always assumed that it was a government project, when really it was just funded by them. And then in 95, once they started seeing all the stuff coming out, they pulled the funding. Michael Jackson was on the board. He was in court. The guy, Mulkey, the trash bonds guy, he was in federal custody awaiting trial. Look, I mean, it was just people were scattering, man. They didn't know what to do. Yeah, they be, man. That's what I'm saying. It's so weird that we got to use this word salad to get around everything for YouTube to try to get fucking 15 cents, but it is what it is, boys. It's not that I don't want to use the terms, or that the terms are too spicy for my content or for y'all to consume. It's just that they're gonna hit my channel, take all my ads off of this video. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, these things really be happening out here in the real world, man. They really be having grapes out there. There really be PDF files out there. There really be chemicals out there. And unfortunately, like you're saying right now, buddy, unfortunately, turning a blind eye, sticking your head in the sand, I'm pretty sure as of yet it's not been the solution to any of those things. I would say that social unrest and discussion would be the peer resistance, even would probably be some of the best ways for us to combat these things in our communities, instead of handcuffing us on these platforms with silly word salad games. Oh, and just so you know, DOJ back in '93 did a study to find out if D.A.R.E was working or if it wasn't working. The findings came back that it was not working, and they hid the results from the national public. Mic drop. Yeah. So go vote, man, if you want to. But they're going to lie to you. Hell yeah. That's what it is, boys. Smoke and mirrors. Nothing to see here. Good old boy networks. And the dummies are holding the bag, and you know what I mean? All that good stuff, man. And like I said, man, you know, it's easy to try to sit here retrospectively and try to blame, oh man, this is, but God bless, man, when you start thinking about all the notches against our generation in this deal, man, the way they just allowed pharmaceuticals to go wild, the way they made everything seem like, you know, glorified and all the media, and then setting us up in our own classrooms. I don't know if y'all remember or not, but I'm an old head, so I remember. But back in the day, there used to not be a police officer in the school. I mean, now I think you couldn't even think of not having one there with all the shenanigans that goes on. And it seems like even though there is one there, they still have shenanigans. You know, there's still people out hurting people. So I don't know how much. I don't know how much having that dude there really does. And that one down in Florida, probably like 10 years ago now, but that one down in Florida, he was there and he ran. You know, so and that just brings me back to the fact that you know, not all these dudes are trustworthy. And the more you look on YouTube, man, you can find all kinds of cases of impropriety by officers and stuff, but yet they still hold them to this high standard, like they're unreproachable, beyond reproach. If it's your word or theirs, I guarantee it's their word. But then you see these videos about them doing weird stuff with ladies on these, you know, work retreats. And the one I was watching the other day, the officer started Instagramming someone that worked at a dance club. The ladies worked like security, or you know, they ran the place. They weren't actual entertainers. Well, he starts texting them on Instagram out of nowhere, and then like trying to like make a rapport with them. You dig? It's like there might be a little bit of room. There might be a small bit of room for there to be a small gray area there. That there should probably be more investigation into it than just what they do. Let's do lateral raises. Man, I gotta grab the 10s for this one. I got everything wrote out, but I think we did pretty good, man. Right, yeah, exactly. But see, that's not the way, you know, that would be a problem. Let me try the 15s real quick. And man, the crazy thing is, dude, is a lot of times that's where we see some of the most what do you call it, man, corruption is in these kids programs. As sad and scary as that is, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You got to have a core group of people that are for the community and not going to take no bullshit over it, you know. But, you know, that's just not the case, man. You know, people know this stuff is in their neighborhoods and we can't keep it out. The chemicals run them up, man. Americans love chemicals. You know, that's what it is. And until somehow we find a way to deal with our problems and our day to day without chemicals as Americans, there's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a problem, especially if you're going to prosecute them also. And don't, just because Darrell Grant got it started, he got up out of there after the riots. And they had another guy come in, and they said he was almost worse taskmaster than that dude. They said he was on some real bullshit. And that's the thing, man. Knowledge is power, man. You know, intelligence is power. When you have intelligence over the population, then you can use that to, you know, persuade and affect their thought processes and what they do. That's big time, you know. If you can go over to the guy's house and be like, look, we've been watching you and you've been saying this dumb shit. We're going to come out and tell everybody about this horse shit you've been on, or you're going to do this for us. What's that, 2, man? Let's go to number 3 here. 15s, too. I put 15 on here. Oh, man. But like I said, no matter how you slice it, no matter what you do and how you look at it, the kids was not the most important part of this deal. And that's what I was saying the other day too, man. If you were in a community where it was frowned upon and everybody would be like, yeah, there's still going to be those outliers, but there's not as going to be as many if they lock down. But that's the thing, man. It's meant to be in the communities. I mean, even we know that, you know, back in the 80s, the government was using it to fund black operations, you know. They had to get money somehow from somewhere. So they, you know, started selling the devil's dandruff in the hoods, you know. Dark money. This also was the D.A.R.E thing also, if you look into it, has some ties to the Contra deal as well. As crazy as that may seem. Just through all the people and everything, you know, that was involved. And man, we was big on them communists, boy. Yeah, we wasn't letting them no slack back in the day. We weren't cutting them no slack. Not that we cut them a lot of slack today, but we was cutting them no slack back in the day, man. Yep. Just like you said, man. We are them people. The bailouts, you know, pharmaceuticals, opening the borders. I mean, look, man, they put us behind the 8 ball a little bit. We have more opportunity and a better chance that you was gonna be on some type of chemical than like in the 50s or the 60s. I guarantee it, because it just wasn't as prevalent. You know, they weren't talking about it. I mean, some of it too was still legalized, so you know what I mean. I guess that too, but not to sound too ignorant on the topic, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It wasn't as glorified and shit. I'd even say accepted. It's accepted now. You know, as something that just happens. I mean, it's affected so many people, and nobody really talks about it when it comes to epidemics and stuff like that, man. But nobody wants to talk about it. The bridge is over. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And then set up the economy to like totally fuck us and make a lot. Look, then they set the economy up to where there was going to be a lot of lower income areas. American dream is dead for sure. Let's see. Shoulder flies. Yeah. Not to mention the tarnish is off, you know. Or the shine. The shine's tarnished, you know. Big time. Big time. Used to be people would, hey chief, used to be people would be like, man, these other countries, man, they keep all their people in the dark and lie to them constantly with all this propaganda and ba 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 and da 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 da. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, doing the same exact fucking thing, dude. Lying to us, treating us like mushrooms. Treating us like mushrooms over here, too. That's like when they were talking to old boy the one time, man. You know, the dude that runs the red team, rides horses, wrestle bears and shit. They was like, did you affect anything in the, did y'all try to go on social media and affect anything in that? And were y'all part of affecting this person getting in or that person getting in? And he didn't say yes or no. And all he said is, what, you don't think y'all don't do that? That's what he told the reporter, like, what, you think y'all don't do that? Huh. Not to mention, we've done that and messed up plenty of time, man. Yep. I thought you were saying the bridge is over, the bridge is over. Oh, shit. But, yeah, this video's been on my mind. This video's been on my mind for a couple of days, man, like 2 weeks. I've been thinking about making sure I wrote it down and got everything straightened out in my head so I could do this video today, man, because I thought this was a super huge video that needed to be talked about, man. The fact that they did us this way, man, the fact they put us behind the 8 ball, man, just astonished me. They had a choice of what worked and what didn't work, and they chose what didn't work. Enough said. Our kids, us, you know what I mean? Me and you, 40-some years old. Just straight up corruption, man. You know? And they sit here and talk about people that, you know, they sit here and talk about like bands and reporters and stuff that would used to always come out and be like, man, do not believe in this government. Do not believe in the society and what they say. And they come out and be like, oh, they're just some beatniks, they're hippies, they're dummies, they don't know what they're talking about, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, they're trying to pull the fucking wool over our eyes every second. Meanwhile, they're trying to blind us every second, throwing sand in our eyes, grabbing our hand and walking us right off the cliff. You know, blindfolding us, fucking holding our hand, walking us right off the cliff. Crazy, man. And yeah, like I said, man, everybody makes their own decisions, and there was plenty of people that didn't make the same decisions that I made in my generation, but you know, a lot of these things didn't help me either. What up, Diesel Bomber? Good to see you, man. And that's what they were doing back in the day, man. You know, for real. That's what they were doing, playing with people's minds and trying to study people and come up with what was going on, how to control us better. It's crazy, man. That's just the tip of the iceberg, too. Like I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg. They've set us up on so many other damn things, man. It's not even funny. It's crazy that even that a nonprofit could get into the schools that easily like that, too, man. I mean, now it's almost like you have to have them there because of things that have happened. You know, I guarantee you, if you pulled them all out of the schools, parents would be upset because they're thinking that's keeping some order. But I don't know that it is, man. And I remember when they first started integrating the officers that stay there at the school all day, that a lot of people had a problem with it. Of course, there wasn't as many of the, you know, long trench coats going in and out back then. Oh man, we left chainsaws and stuff for last. Terrible idea. We should have did chainsaws, but I wanted to be able to talk and stuff too. I could have did it with them. I should have did those first. Fuck. It's all right. We'll get them still. PSYOP. Yep, exactly. They're trying to study us as human beings. I'm not totally convinced that all this, you know, UAPs and all that stuff. I feel like it's probably our technology, dude. The more and more, like with that Operation Paperclip and you know all kinds of stuff like that, man, where they've come out and basically said that you know they could come out and make uh, something versus us, then we would come together and we would, get together on stuff, man. Like they've studied us, they know how to make us do stuff, man. For sure they do. Even if you think they don't, or they couldn't get you to do anything, it's just it's science and shit, you know. They'll trick us into thinking that shit without us even knowing it. Got us looking left when everything's going right. That's why I think dude thought this Epstein shit was just gonna go away. You know, throughout time, most of the time they're just like nothing to see here, and then they move on. But they couldn't get them to move on this time. Oh, clip the phone, clip the tripod on the way in. All right. What is this, a 50? And a 50. Sweet money. Yeah, man. And supposedly just the other day they had a picture come out of something that's some craft that had Northrop Grumman wrote on it that supposedly will fly through the air and go into the water. Supposedly. But yeah, like the Black Hawk was flying, that SR-71 was flying around for a long time before we even figured out about it. Like the Osama deal, we'd have never known about them stealth helicopters if they wouldn't have wrecked that one. And Robert O'Neill said that it looked like something never that wasn't made by man. But that dude's hyping shit up, man. It looked like a regular helicopter with a different back, like different types of stuff on it to make it, chainsaws, boys. He tried to make it out like it was a freaking spaceship or something, but they've showed pictures of them, and they're not like a spaceship, really. They're like a Black Hawk with stealth panels and shit. Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they can't let us know because then everybody knows. If we know, the public knows, and that means everybody in the world knows. There's even stuff we tried to keep quiet, like that white phosphorus shit. We tried to keep that quiet, but it came out too. Let alone the whole private Tillman, Pat Tillman. I don't think he was a private, but I'm not positive. But Pat Tillman, that whole debacle, like bunch of idiots, no reason for it. That's the thing too. I never knew it, but I've probably been told before in a video and didn't realize it. But there are videos of the lone survivor taken from the tally. I seen it the other day. It's no wonder they call us liars and shit all across the world. It's propaganda. That's what we call it. If the shoe was on the other foot, we'd call it propaganda. You know what I mean? All right, Diesel Bomber, be good. But also seen another dude that was talking about it that was one of the guys that was on the rescue team. Can't remember what show it was on. It was recent though, and you know, they said Latrell was pretty messed up and stuff. So there's so many contradicting stories with the lone survivor deal that you almost can't even make a good decision on what really happened if you weren't there. And Latrell's told the story, but he's also told it the way that he was told to tell it. He's told the story a couple times a different way. So yeah, buddy. But that's the thing too, though, man. You know, they act like that's not real, but then again, like if you look at some of the stuff, it'll have you thinking it's not. And then you look at other stuff and you think that it is. I mean, supposedly there's a mirror up there that was placed there. So, Fireside, good to see you. That they use to shoot lasers back and forth. And, supposedly there's stuff that can be seen, but I don't know, man. I'm fucking up though. I almost fucked up the whole set right there. I don't know what I'm doing. I almost forgot to do half of it. Like an idiot. And then stuff's, that's the weird thing too. Like, stupid stuff makes the media, but stuff like that really should be something that's being talked about. Nobody really talks about it, It's not discussed. It's not even brought to the public for them to discuss it. Because they know the uproar that would happen if it was known by everyone that they had a chance to use the right method or the wrong method, and for some reason they chose the method that was not working. Yeah, that's the thing, is how they get the video back. So, you know what I mean? At the same time that it was happening within a buffering, time period or whatever. It took so long for the signal to get back, but like you said, it was supposedly like pretty much happening in real time. How'd that happen? Some of the shadows and stuff, they've explained some of the background, why the background kind of looks like it's just kind of like blurs out is because of the way the cameras are and stuff. Um, the no wind thing and stuff. I can't remember all the little details, but there's a million little details that people try to pick out. But at the same time, man, there's also a lot of people that dispute every bit of it. And Neil Armstrong punched that dude out. But as a whole, we're being lied to regularly. We're being lied to regularly, and I don't buy into none of it. I think it's all a bunch of bull. Yeah, and then they just lost it. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I've used it a couple times, but yeah, between the tripod and the mic, we got hella good wanted to say programming, but production value. We got some banging production value today because we did the story time on the weight pile. I wanted to make sure we had it. So I found the mic. It was down in between the seat of the truck. I got it out, made sure it was charging so we'd have it for this deal. Yeah, that's what I was telling that Smokey of Stormwind about yesterday or the day before yesterday when we were doing the curls. I was like, man, I should have listened to you from the jump. It definitely makes the production value way higher having the microphone. Let's go, boys. We got one more and then we're going to do pullovers. We got one more and then we're going to do pullovers. And then we ouchie. Oh. I don't know, man. I was going to bring up the Tim Kennedy deal. They're roasting him on all the social media. SOF. not all of them, but a lot of the SOF community, um, our social media pages are getting bombarded by people asking them what's going on with Tim Kennedy. Like, I think it was last weekend, they had a giant team challenge. They had all the teams come together to find out who the best team was. And it's usually like a huge deal in the social media community. And a lot of guys were getting on there saying that Tim Kennedy already wrote a book about winning that event. Oh, shit. Oh, man. We over here today, so I'm just going to put this 50 and use it, man. That's the biggest one we got on this bench, on this rack. But shit. Yeah, no doubt, right? Well, I mean, it's almost undeniable at this point. Too many people are going after him, you know, and trying to get something done about this deal. The Anti-Hero podcast went over his firefighting and cop career, if you want to say that, because he was never really a police officer. He went to the academy, ended up getting in a fight with a guy and got a felony charge that got dropped, but nobody would pick him up after that to be in any department. So, and then he was a firefighter for a while, and all the stories that they could try to get confirmed by people that were with him in his short career as a firefighter said that most of them stories they had never heard of any story like that, or it just downright didn't happen. Oh shit, too far back, boys. Maybe not. I thought we were and we weren't. My bad, boys. Let's go. Oh, damn. Come on back now. Come on back now if you ever want to try again. And then he said that on a moonless night, he just had, I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't been around a whole lot of firefighters in a while, man, but he said on a moonless night, he decided to strip down and go swimming in the ocean. And he got about 2 miles out. And the National Guard came and scooped him up. Didn't help him get in the boat or anything. Took him back to the guard shack where they had a book of all like the people they saved and stuff. All this shit's bullshit, man. They talk to the National Guard. They don't have that. They never have any. They don't have any record of saving anybody in the time frame that he's talking about. They said that if they were looking for somebody and somebody had called it or whatever, and they were actually trying to search for somebody, they would have been like way closer to the shore than 2 miles out. So it's just like a miracle that they found him, I guess, right? Now, Tim, he's told that story two different ways. He's told it that way, and then he told another story that way, of that story a different way, where they just took him back to the shore and dropped him off, and he had to walk back to his car. And that's the thing, like they were saying, it's not so much that he's lying. That's that's part of being terrible about it. But the big thing is he's making everybody that he's telling these stories about look bad, and he looks good. You know what I mean? Oh man, what is that? 2 pullovers. 3 to go, and then we're out of here. A little bit before the old lady gets home. What time it is? Yeah, he beat damn. He beat Robbie Lawler. That's crazy. I would have never thought that because he had a decent career, not a great one, you know. And he got stopped there. I think he dropped a couple in a row. Like I think when he got stopped, like when he got dropped and stuff, I think he was I'm not sure about how his whole UFC career went, man. I know I've heard him break it down, but I just don't remember all of it. I think I've seen him fight a couple times, once or twice. Back here not that long ago though, there was a lot of guys, not a lot, but there was a handful of guys in the UFC that was ex-military that had just come home. So, and some of them I think were special forces. One guy I think wasn't, but Little Smokey, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. I'll be waiting for that stuff you missed on shit you missed on YouTube. I'll be waiting for that joint on Saturday night or Sunday night. I can't remember. Saturday night? I can't remember. I'll be waiting for that jewel. I think it's Sunday night. Because we missed it during the week, so that will make sense. Knock these out and get up out of here, man. Go looking for something for dinner. Oh, man. Nice, man. I know you was all over that last one, man. I mean, you've had like the outro a couple times, but yeah, no, he was all over that one for sure. It puts the lotion on the skin or gets the hose again. God bless everybody that sends me money. Yeah, no doubt, man. Come on here, man. Couple more and we're out of here. Couple more of these bad boys and we're out of here. Yeah, buddy. Bang, bang. Oh, those are spirit fingers, bro. Those are spirit fingers, homie. I can't remember what that's from. The Will Ferrell joint, I think. Spirit fingers. Superstar. Oh, man. Dang, boys. Oh, man, my man's upside down over there. They be in here doing muscle ups and shit. Dude's just upside down. All right, come on, man. One more. One more set, and then we're up out of here, man. I'm trying, man. We trying, buddy. We trying in here, man. I ain't doing nothing special. Consistent. Discipline. Dedication. That's all. And 3 protein shakes a day. That's a big deal. I think the GNC one's working pretty good, I think. I mean, we'll have to give it more than a week, but all right. Let's go. Oh shit, man. We out of here. Got the big notebook just in case I was forgetting stuff. Calling the dude Grant when his name's really Gates. I was looking, but I seen it before I looked. Or I remembered it before I looked. Whatever. I seen it before I looked. Oh man. Oh yeah. I forgot 2 of the people on the board of D.A.R.E was on the Epstein Island. Let's go, boys. That's enough for one day. It's enough for one day. We got calisthenics tomorrow. And then our favorite. Oh. And our favorite curls. I just dropped everything. Hold on one second, boys. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, Chief. Chief be deleting all his messages on me. Bang, bang. See, I got it down a little bit so you can see it. Huh. Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, man, I want that. I want to try that shit, man. I ain't tried it yet. There ain't no place like right around here, you know what I mean? But I tried to go to a Dave's Hot Chicken up in the city, man, that wasn't no parking. So I couldn't get in, but man, I have been wanting to try that Dave's Hot Chicken, man. I'm somewhat of a hot chicken carne asada. I'm something like a hot chicken carne asada. Hell yeah. I don't know what we're doing tonight, man. I'm about to jump off the live and try to figure everything out. See what I'm gonna do. I gotta go by the damn grocery store on the way home, regardless, though, because I have no milk. Hell yeah. Well, we'll see, man. I still don't think. I think it's because I think it's too many people involved in it, man. I think it's too many people involved in it trying to shut it down, man. That's what I think. But I'm just a dumb hillbilly. What do I know? You know what I mean? What the F do I know? Anyways, boys, look, we found the end of the episode here, haven't we? We've talked about it in length. No, did he? We've talked about it in length. And shit, boys, I think that's all I got for you tonight, man. Nice little story time on the weight pile for y'all. Tell your friends. Uh, share it out. Like it. All that, man. All that. Hook a kid up one time. Share it on your channel. Maybe somebody will watch it that ain't never watched my channel before. You never can tell. Shit, man, be good to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself like I am all the time. You know? It probably ain't even your fault. Blame it on the government. That's what I do. And tell your loved ones you love them because they be forgetting. I'm out of here, dog. Bicycle!